All right, what's going on? Well, it's come to that time. I put out a video a couple months ago where I initially set up my Onefinity Elite Foreman CNC, and I thought I'd be a good idea to offer a free carve to anybody who thinks they can try and guess what the cost of setup to just getting into the CNC type of process. And that's what I did. So I did a full-on video of the, well, multiple videos, let me rephrase that, multiple videos of the table build, the base that I did. I built my own with custom dimensions, and then I purchased the Onefinity Elite Foreman, and then I showed you all the unboxing, setup, and a few projects that I worked on the CNC. And this is now, I originally thought a 2-month, this is actually turning out to be about a 3-month review. It's been 3 months since I've posted that original video, and I've learned quite a few pros and cons, things that I like, I'm still learning, and that I don't like, and I'll give you my honest opinion, since this is my first CNC machine and I have no other level to base my opinion on other than what I've done and what I did with my CNC. But without further ado, I will go over the cost breakdown first, and then I'll give you my overall impression of the CNC, what I think, and you know, I guess whether or not I would recommend it. Also, if you're checking this video out and you're curious if you were the winner, I messaged you on that original video, so go back and check your posts. If you got a message, then hit me up on either Instagram or Facebook, something that you could send me a direct message on. I haven't figured out how to direct message on YouTube. I don't know if you can, but if you can hit me up on one of those other 2 platforms, let's collaborate and build your sign. If you won, you'll know. You were the person I reached out to, so I will, like promised, build you, carve you the sign of your choosing. Hopefully you like it, and I'm gonna show it on the video, because like I said, it's all about me learning and showing you the process along the way. And if anybody else is interested in starting something like this, like I did, maybe you can learn something from a few of my mistakes, some of my miscalculations, if you want to call them. But as the channel says, if it's not a problem, it's not a problem. So here you go. Here's the cost breakdown, and I'll tell you who the winner is right after. All right. Here's the breakdown. Onefinity CNC. We're going to start at the bottom, go up to the cost of the Onefinity. So this is based on what I paid for these items and what the total price came out for me. So let's get going. We'll start here with miscellaneous. No real surprise there. Glues, screws, that sort of thing. I actually ballparked this because a lot of this I had on hand, but I did look at what the cost for those items would have been with a rough amount of what I ended up paying. So looking at this item, total cost for this, $24.95. I know that seems a little low. I know screws are more expensive, but that's what I paid. Alright, the next item, as I mentioned in the first video, I did have to purchase a new PC. Since I am natively a Mac user, I had to get a Windows PC. This was my best option, the Ace Magician gaming PC. It was tiny enough package, had the software and the graphics that I have grown to appreciate. It works well, haven't had any issues. Here's overall cost of that. Alright, the next thing, this is where I started, this is starting to get some of the accessory materials for the CNC to run smoothly. the flex hose, the dust collection, extension cords for the router, stuff like that. So, right there, extension cord. I had to get an extension cord to run, because I wanted to be neat enough, I wanted to run the power through the drag chain, required an extension cord. The Makita router itself, and I will talk to the Makita router a little bit more when I go over my pros and cons and my review of my setup, but this is what I have so far. The Fox Alien starter drill bit kit, that's just what I purchased. Since the release of this video, I've bought probably a dozen other bits, but I'm not including it because this was the initial startup set that I bought. Alright, now here comes the, I guess, maybe largest purchase other than the CNC. This would be the building of the CNC table, which as it stands, it took, you know, one MDF, which is the spoil board, and these are prices at my local Home Depot, right? It may vary where you're at. I did use 3 for the table itself, not the spoil board, but for the table itself. 3 sheets of particle board. They were $29.97 each. And then the 2x4 or 2x8s that I used for the build. I used 8 of them. 10 at $10.18 a piece, right? So 2x8s, I want to say I bought 8 footers. I don't exactly remember. I thought I put this dimension in there, but I didn't. Alright, so when it comes to the actual machine, other than the router, items that I purchased from Onefinity, right? So, X, Y, and Z probe bit setter. Here's what I got that for. So it was, I got both the bit setter and the probe. That's the combined price. And then the be-all, end-all Mamma Jamma, the 48x48 Elite Foreman. Now I did purchase this while it was on sale. It was Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right around Thanksgiving of last year. I don't exactly recall, but originally when I was looking at this, I want to say it was originally about $800 more than what I paid. So I waited for that deal. It came up. My wife and I pulled the trigger. We got it for $49.75. And I think that was an amazing deal. So individually, that is what I paid for every piece required to get this CNC table up and running. So here we go. Grand total, if you are ready, for my CNC build as it stood the day I pressed the power button. Here's what I paid. $6,234.87. That was the total cost to get started with a CNC machine. Again, these numbers are based on my local area. This is what I paid. You may pay something different. I have not looked to see what the Elite Foremans are going for right now on the Onefinity website, but I will give you my overall impression of my setup. I'm going to try to set it up. I'll give you pros and cons, things I do like, things I don't like. But check that out. Here's my machine. Alright, here it is. The Onefinity Elite Foreman. This is my starter CNC. I bet you didn't think it was going to cost that much, right? I know it definitely surpassed my expectation for startup fee. However, I like it, right? I knew I wanted to get into CNC. I wanted to get into custom engraving, and I wanted to provide, you know, friends and family and anybody that reaches out to me that wants to build something, wants me to build them something, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't limited, right? Part of woodworking is being able to adapt and overcome, figure out problems or solutions to problems. I also didn't want to have to reach out to other people and ask them, hey, could you do this? Or hey, could you do that for me? And, you know, run the risk of pushing a timeline down the road because I have to wait for someone else to be able to carve into a project that someone asked me to build them. So that's what I got. Pros and cons. So originally I was going to come up with a script, list, you know, 5 or 10 pros, 5 or 10 cons. So instead, I'm just going to give you impressions, things that I like, things that I don't like. Let's start with the dislikes, right? I think the number one dislike is the all-included packages that I saw and everything that I researched for ready-to-run CNC, which I'm pretty sure that this is one of those, right? And clearly, it was not ready to run. I had to buy bits, I had to buy a router, I had to buy, you know, all the little accessories, all the extra pieces that you need in order to, you know, operate your CNC, right? Case in point, one of them being, how do you get to your dust collection? I know a lot of people run shop vacs, a lot of people do, you know, small dust collection at first, but that's a necessity. That's something that you don't necessarily factor into getting your CNC up and running. Another con, it not so much has to do with this, and probably because I haven't worked with multiple different versions or multiple different softwares, is I have a picture in my mind and I know what I want it to do, and mechanically it seems feasible and physically capable of doing it. Getting the software to understand that, or me to be able to tell the software what I want, super hard to do. As you saw in that first video, right? All I was trying to do was surface my spoil board, right? In my mind, I feel like it should be as simple as saying 48 by 48, here's your 0, clear 1 millimeter deep, plain, right? And it's mostly probably my own lack of understanding of CAD, CAM, and the software used, but I didn't like that. It took me hours to figure out simply how to surface this and put little tiny lines in it every 2 inches. I did all the research in the world, and all the videos show it set up, lined up, and done in like 5 minutes on the computer, right? And it took me hours to figure out. I would literally have a surfacing video on this screen and trying to mimic exactly what they're doing on this screen, and then when I would bring it over to the machine, it just wouldn't figure it out. I don't know, again, probably my ignorance starting out and not knowing the software, but that's one of my, you know, biggest dislikes. Now I will tell you, after 3 months of those struggles, I can now do a basic outline of surface, scripted text. I could set that up in about 10 minutes. So I know that that was my own fault, but it's still a dislike. Let's see, what else? What else do I have that are dislikes? I would say the actual Onefinity machine setup is a little more meticulous than they sell it on the machine or the YouTube videos of people setting up their Onefinity, right? I believe I mentioned it in the first video, setup for this, you know, people say can be done in 45 minutes. You're wrong, all right? My opinion. You're absolutely wrong. Maybe someone who set up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 machines before could set this up in 45 minutes, but it took me, my dad, and my uncle a couple of hours to get this thing set up and dialed correctly. Now the directions, flawless, easy, good to go. Took me a minute to figure out my stiffy and the fact that I had to completely disassemble my Z, or XY, my X-axis. What is that? Is that X-axis? Yeah, I had to completely disassemble that in order to get the stiffy to bolt onto the Z sliding mechanism, which I don't know if that was done intentionally by Onefinity, but they put the tram, the bearing on the stiffy on it backwards. It was 180 degrees swapped. Now, that might have been something that they did from the factory so that you didn't put it on wrong and attach it and try to run with it. I don't know, but another downside, I feel like there could have been an easier way, you know, to do that. The directions did, after I found them, because they're not in the standard setup directions, there is a specific or a different set of instructions for attaching a stiffy, and you have to follow those separately from the initial setup. But didn't like that either. All right, so what is that? Three cons. Those are 3 things that I don't like. Oh, I suppose the 4th thing is not a fault of the CNC of Onefinity at all, but and I did this intentionally, right? I went with a Makita router for starting out and learning how to operate the CNC, right? I didn't want to invest all this money in a spindle and then potentially, and I don't know what I would have done, but running the risk of causing a lot of damage because I didn't understand the principles and, you know, the operation with a spindle. So using the Makita router works, but good God, is it loud. And I've actually, in the 3 months, and this was on all the videos too, everybody said that after a while your Makita router is just going to start to die. It's just not going to work for a long period of time. It wasn't intended to be a, you know, one and done solution like a VFD, right? Not that VFDs are one and done, but they're more robust. They're designed with this application in mind, whereas a palm router is not, right? It can be used, which clearly I have been, but I don't believe a palm router was intended for a 5-hour carve, right? Which I've done several times now. That's running for 5 straight hours. It doesn't really have, it's air cooled, so it doesn't have the cooling capability that, say, you know, a bigger spindle with a large fan and or a water cooled spindle would have. And it's just, this router's already starting to fade on me. I've noticed that my RPM wheel won't stay in place, so I've got that piece of tape on there to hold it at 6 so it won't slow down mid-carve and burn the wood, chip the wood, break a bit, or cause the machine to skip a step. So that's probably my last con that I'll share. I'm sure there's other little things, little meticulous things that I'm forgetting at this moment, but yeah, those are my cons. 4 of them, things that I'm not a fan of, but are necessary evils when getting started in the CNC game. If you have any comments on those or want to add any stories, go ahead and leave them below. All right, so pros. What sort of pros do I have? Well, I'll be honest, I think I 100% made the right choice going with the Onefinity Elite Foreman. All right, Like I said, I did a lot of research, looked at a lot of CNCs, and I know there's a lot of other good options out there. The Shapokos and the long mills, and even my buddy who has a Bob's, which he's doing amazing projects with. He's actually the reason I got into this. I saw what he could do and I was like, I need to be able to do that as well. So overall, absolutely love it. It's super fun, and now that I've done several projects, it's becoming more intuitive and I'm understanding it a lot better. And the ability to be able to, you know, monitor, change, and make setting adjustments on the fly with this Masso unit helps me gain more confidence in doing my projects, right? I also recently got, about, I don't know, a month ago, got the Masso Link set up. So now, whereas, you know, the first month or two, I would sit here and babysit this machine because I was scared that if something went wrong, I wouldn't know about it. Now that I got the Wi-Fi and the Masso Link set up, which I should have done from day one, but it's now set up and I can monitor it straight from my phone. So if I have to run upstairs and grab something or help my wife with something, or the boys, or, you know, get a phone call, I can step out of the shop knowing that I'll get an alert on my phone if something happens, right? In an emergency. Obviously, being closer, maybe being able to prevent serious damage in order to save a project. Yes, the further out of the shop I am, the less likely I'm going to catch or save one of those. But at least I won't, you know, the system won't stop. The bit continue to run in the piece of wood, get so hot that it sets something on fire, and now I've not only burned up my shop and home, but now it's a safety risk. So I do love that Masso Link, and I'm glad that I can keep an eye on things from my phone, and it sends me alerts or indications when the project stops, you know, how far along in the project I am, that sort of thing. In summary, I guess, because I would say this is, like I said, I think I made the right choice. I got the Onefinity Elite Foreman. Yes, it is the 48 by 48, so it's big, right? They have smaller models, and I could have started with a smaller machine. But as I explained in that first video, a lot of my friends, people that I know with CNCs, bought small, not necessarily regretted it, but within a few, you know, as little as 6 months to a year, 2 years, they've gone and upped their game to a much larger machine. So I'm glad that I went with 48 by 48, although at this point, knowing that the next one above a 48 by 48 is getting a full bed. Right, a 4 foot by 8 foot, 5 by 10, something like that, which, I mean, I guess I might have the space for, but this one, I believe, will last me quite a while. So that's where I'm at. Again, this whole channel is always about me showing my problems, getting over them because they're not a problem, bringing you along the way, hoping that you learn something. If you want to engage or ask questions, always feel free. I will answer every question at the bottom in any of my videos. I routinely look back through them because I also want to provide you guys with better videos. I'm getting side railed from the point of this video, but I'll show you some of the video clips and some of the projects that I've worked on this. I'll just throw a few of them here at the end. If you like any of them, there will be a few links at the end of this video with links to some of those full project videos, but go ahead and check them out. As always, if you want to leave a comment, do it. If you want to like, subscribe, you know, ring the bells, so that you'll know when I post a new video. Sometimes it's every week or two. This one's about a month overdue because, you know, life happened. I got busy. But go ahead, check them out. Let me know what you think, and we'll catch you on the next video. Hope you like it. Remember, it's not a problem.
Alright, well, while you're checking out these few clips, the winner of the free giveaway, if you want to reach out to me, John Owens, you chose closest to the overall price of my setup for my Onefinity. Hit me up and let's collaborate and make a project. Alright? Thanks everybody for watching. Check out all these other videos, full builds of different projects I've done. Definitely worth looking at. If you have any questions, as always, go ahead and hit me up. Leave a comment, leave a like. Shoot, tell me what I did wrong. Always welcome to hear some feedback. But again, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. And if you need anything, just remember, it's not a problem. You can figure it out.